beat down, toe up. I feel like that's how our weekend went. I feel like we've been living in like a ball of chaos and noise like the entire weekend. But then yeah, the little weasels tonight at dinner have like the most perfect dinner. And then they on their own decide, why don't we have a family group hug? And then we have like this group hug. So now I don't know how to feel.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get
It's
you.
like legitimately Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids. That's
They're
parenting.
sour and then they're sweet.
Parenting in a nutshell. There's like, it makes me think of one of the topics we have, which is this idea that there is no such thing as the romantic version of anything, which we will get into. This is episode 11 of Strong Opinions Weekly Held. I'm Will. This is my lovely wife. Let's do it. There is no such thing as the romantic version of things. So I saw this tweet. Last week from friend of the pod, Travis Northcutt. Friend of the pod, Travis Northcutt, where he was retweeting something about.
Was this that text chain? Not the text chain.
The thread.
The thread.
It was a thread where it was someone talking about how everyone talks about wanting, quote unquote, a village, but to be part of a village, there's a trade-off where if you want to have full control over every parenting decision and every interaction and way that your kid is raised, that's almost antithetical to being part of a village in a real sense and it working, because the point is that like everyone helps, and that means not everyone might parent the same way that you do, and you've got to be able to give up control. And that got me thinking about this like whole idea of like there's romanticized versions of like everything, and the reality is that like nothing. That sounds good.
Well, I think you could argue that you have to force yourself to find the romanticism in all. You know, like you have to make yourself feel and think that what you're doing is romanticizing whatever event. It could be doing Play-Doh with your kids and you're doing it outside, and it's just you're creating the version that feels to you like it's romantic.
Okay.
You know, but you got to put in the effort. It's a mindset thing. But if you just expect it like at face value to be like what's depicted in your head or what's presented to you on whatever form of media you consume, that's just not ever going to work. You know, like you have to put in the work to get the product that you want.
I like that. I like that. Yes. But that just proves the point. Like there's no romantic, like I think everything has a romantic version. I think what you're talking about, everyone has this idea that, okay, like we're going to have this great backyard. We're going to go out and play in it, and we're going to do A, B, and C. We're going to play with Play-Doh. We're going to swing on the swing set, and it's going to be great. And like the kids are going to love it, and we're going to have a good time. And like our family's just gonna, like have such a great time outside. But like the reality is that you're going to go outside. You're going to start playing with Play-Doh, and then one of your kids is going to try to eat it. The other one's going to play with it for 2 seconds and then wander off and decide that like the stick's interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to do the swing.
But then it's about finding the joy of the kid playing in the sticks, because I'll say this. Our kids, you know, like all kids, you know, you think you've got to provide all this stuff or set up all these things. And really, the bare minimum or the basic or the most joyful experiences that they have. For example, we have been outside and like they've got this little climbing dome. You built some swings. But the best thing in that backyard happens to be two things. This random dirt patch that they take like trucks and buckets and spatulas and whatever.
The other day I saw Palmer. She grabbed a handful of it and literally like LeBron James the dirt in the air. It was awesome.
And then what they call the secret place, and it's just like these bushes and
in the corner along a fence, and between the bushes / trees and the fence is like 3-foot gap, and it makes it like a little secret place.
And so to them, it is romantic. It's like, I think they'll look back and be like, oh, that secret place was just, it was massive. We felt like we were hidden away. And so it's romanticized through the eyes of kids, not necessarily
counterpoint. I like that one. I think that's interesting.
Because that's what you try to do. You want your kids to.
Okay, so correction. There is a romantic version of things, but we are not the main character. Maybe that's what. There's a story being written, but it's not our story. It's their story. So our job is to provide the magic for them.
Exactly, and I think that's something.
Love that. That's so good.
It's just a different take on what we always say. Like, we said from the very beginning when we had kids that this is what we wanted, this is what we're actively choosing, and we're putting in the work.
That's why we had them young, because we want to be young parents.
And there's not a day that goes by, or we try to, or even a decision or a moment that goes by that we try not to give it 110%, whether it be praise or correction or any kind of thing. We went in to parenthood with the mindset of we're going to give it our all. And I think that's what created.
Some days it does not. You don't. Well, some days I don't want to.
Well, that's why.
Some days it's not easy.
That's why, Lord willing, you've got a great partner.
And you can trade off sometimes.
When you open cabinet doors, somebody will come back behind and close them. Come on, man.
How did you pull that one in? You
put that on a platter for me.
I don't, man. You just like pulled that one right in.
But
okay,
cool. You know, like you have somebody there that will help you along the way, and I think
all right. Well, this is interesting because I was planning to take this down like a path because I want to tie that. Like, obviously, like we're parents, we care about parenting. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of y'all are parents and care about parenting, so this is interesting to you at some level. But I think like this is also true just about everything. So, for instance, in my career, there's this idea of like, oh, there's a perfect way to build. Like, there's this way that you can build something to where everything, the code is clean and everything makes sense and is logical. And the reality is that like nothing, like there are, people call them hacks. There are like shortcuts. There are constraints on the work that you have to do to where like you can't spend forever getting something like the best thing you could possibly do. You have to do the best you can within a set of constraints. And then sometimes like you have to tie those things in with things that are coming later. And like before you know it, your project is no longer perfectly clean. And so your job is to try and manage how can I build new things while like maintaining and making sure that this project does not get out of hand. Because the reality of like constraints on time and like
I have such a limited view of this, but it still seems so subjective because what would be a hack for you or seem logical to you maybe wouldn't seem like a hack or logical to me. I mean, right?
This is true. Like, but yeah, that's the point. That's a good point. I was planning on taking it down this path, but then you said this thing about like we're not making something for ourselves. Like the romanticism is not for ourselves. The romanticism is for our children.
Yeah. So products are for the people that they're for.
For the people that they're for. So like your job is to kind of be a little bit of a Wizard of Oz where like there may be a lot of pieces and parts moving behind the scenes, but like if you can pull it off, your goal is to try to make magic for the person that you're trying to solve for, even if it may not. We as the craftspeople, the crafters, want it to be perfect. You know, like you take joy in how you did it and like how it's built. Like the customer does. It's like with the kids. Like the kids don't care that like we came up with this super fun painting
That is
project.
The story of my life as a teacher.
Right. Yes. Okay. That's what I was gonna tie this in.
Prep,
I was gonna tie this in.
Yeah. A magical, wonderful, or even, as long as they enjoy it.
Right. And there's like this curse reverse where like you thought you just did something perfect. Like you set up this perfect lesson plan, or like you had this great feature idea and it felt so good, and like you built this thing, but then like nobody wanted that. And like you may have built something so good, you may have come up with the perfect lesson plan, and this probably never. Allie is a fantastic, by the way. But like it like falls on deaf ears. Like you do something and like people don't care. So it's like it doesn't matter how good of a job you did on something.
It's just life. Sometimes things are slam dunk. Sometimes they're a flop. And I think that's just normal. I think.
Yes. So I think the reason I wanted to talk about this was because I think this is like an important realization. Mm-hmm. Whether you're going into being a parent, whether you're going into marriage, whether you are somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur and starting like a new product or like a business of some kind, like you have this romantic idea in your head about how it's going to be.
Well, yeah, because you put yourself at the end goal. You put yourself immediately on the peak.
Right. And it can be extremely, what's the opposite of
discouraging?
Discouraging, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Mambo number. Sorry.
It can be extremely discouraging when like you get started and you've built up this romantic version in your head. And then like the reality is like that's not what it is. And so like you've got to readjust to survive. And if you can't readjust, that's when things fail. Like that's when like I'm not gonna go there, but me and Allie have a lot of strong opinions that should not be shared because everyone should parent the way that they.
Those are not strong opinions, weakly held.
Those are strong opinions, privately held. If you want them, feel free to like talk to us personally. But there are like ways that like you
Disclaimer, everybody's doing the best that they can do, and that is all that we're all just trying to.
Sure. But the idea is like you can get discouraged and you can take easy ways, or you can give up. And that with a business or your job, like those can be like with businesses and entrepreneurship and side projects, like the reality is like that's not that big in the end. You can find another job, you can find another project, you can try again. With parenting and like marriages and relationships, like that's a lot bigger of a deal. So I don't know, I just thought it'd be worth bringing up because there is, as I said, there is no romantic version. There's just reality. And I liked your point of saying like you have to realize who the story is for. And your job is to provide like I think if you are someone who is giving to that person or to that project or to that idea, to who should be the main character of the story, like that's where you will find, for instance, in marriage, like it's not about me, as you said, like the goal is like my job is to provide the romantic story for you, to provide the life for you that you romanticize, like in your job. You said because I know, you said why? Because your mindset is the exact opposite, which is like you think, well, no, I want to make sure that I'm making sure you feel like you have the romantic version of the story that you want.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to succeed, because we both find, not all the time, but because that's like our foundation, when we get off track, we can come back on track because we know that it's for us, it's for the other person. Same with kids. Like you can get off track because you start thinking about how difficult parenting is for yourself, but then you have these moments, family hug moments with a little huddle and a 1, 2, 3 king crew that just bring joy back to your life, and you realize it's not about me. And like, yes, life is like chaotic and difficult, but it's not about me, it's about them. And like the same with
about this weekend. I don't even remember anything.
Do you not remember Saturday? Saturday was
time out.
There's this rule.
There is a rule, and it is fat It's proven.
Scientific method.
Okay, maybe not once your kids reach like a certain threshold of age.
Sure.
But with our kids being 5, 2, and 1, I feel like we're in the thick of it. It is scientifically proven on the King's end that if you have a great morning with your kids and like family.
What is it? Newton's law? There needs to be like some law for parenting.
That if you have a great morning, your afternoon and evening will be hot garbage.
Hot garbage, like a
if
chaotic
your morning is hot garbage,
you're gonna have a
fantastic afternoon and evening. And let me tell you,
opposite and equal reaction.
I can't believe I forgot about it. I think because you block out painful memories.
It was so bad.
Okay, but no, it started off on
the best note,
the most
you're not
solid
wrong. You're
foot
not wrong.
forward, and I do remember this.
Which there's something to be said about, like, do you want the hot garbage morning and to finish on a strong note, or do you want the curse reverse? Like, start my day while I'm tired and everyone's perfect, and then like.
Okay.
Give me strength to get through the end of the day.
Well, because of what we did Saturday. So we woke up, we went to a little deli here for breakfast, and then we had to run so many errands. And our kids were phenomenal at the restaurant for breakfast. And then we had to go to like Hobby Lobby, Target. I mean, just like a bunch of places. And so it kind of evolved into a game of Kings versus whatever
errand. Yeah, we kept score. We kept
a score.
That's
like,
true. We were
is
undefeated.
Hobby Lobby gonna win or the King's gonna win? And like, it was this like group mentality of like, heck yeah. Oh, yeah. We crushed those errands. It was like 6-0. 6-0. Everybody was
undefeated.
We get back home for lunch.
We had a public potty break. Like, let me tell you, nothing's can throw a wrench in a day or in a plan, an outing. Than like your 2-year-old at your potty training suddenly being like, I need to go potty, and you're in the middle of some random store. But we weathered that. It went great.
It was beautiful. The baby didn't fall asleep in the car. There was no car nap. It was like,
let me tell you, y'all all know.
We did it.
Y'all all know nothing worse than a nap that ruins the schedule. The worst.
So then we get home for lunch, and then it was, I don't even know what happened. Palmer and Wilson were just so pumped to be home.
It's like they used every ounce of I can be good energy.
Yeah.
And they had none left. And all that was left was chaos.
And violence.
And violence.
Not actual violence.
I mean, a little bit.
A little
psychological. Gotta watch out for our 1-year-old Davis. He's mean. Let me tell you.
Not mean.
The other day at church, he was walking down the pew. He was walking down the pew. Looked over, saw his brother working on his puzzle, and literally just went in the puzzle.
You're putting intent on him, and that just doesn't feel.
I'm telling you, you can see it in his eyes. He knows.
So it was nap time. Davis fell asleep in his crib. But Palmer and Wilson were so loud, they woke him up. Wilson went to sleep, but woke up very early. Palmer never took a nap and was just. And I just remember we were like, okay, we either put him in water or we take him outside because that normally helps. So we took them all outside, and that made things worse.
I don't know how.
I don't know how. So Will yells across the backyard and says, "What's that thing? If you have a good morning,
nailed it.
You're gonna have a bad afternoon." Well,
we had it in spades that day.
It was like the meme of the dog and the fire.
Yeah, we made it. We made it.
Sunday was better.
We made it. And that wraps it up. I think that we can put a bow on it. Nothing's romantic. You got to figure out who the story's for and focus on giving to them. Try to give the romantic story to somebody else. And then I think you find your peace in your motivation. Got a bow on it.
All right, there Nailed you go.
Crushed it. Crushed it. Speaking of crushing it. All right. I'm about to ruin something for y'all because Allie ruined something for me. I think we need to pull it up. See if you can try to find it. All right. I know some of y'all might not have, but a lot of you have sound machines for your kids. And it plays the sound of rain, like the pitter patter of rain.
Like, I've heard people, they just do like the white noise. So I'm like, is that where we went wrong?
We didn't go wrong. Our kids love it. But it's like now, like, when like you hear something or see something and then it ruins something forever. This is that. So Allie shows me this TikTok. It's fine. Allie shows me this TikTok where they said, "You know the sound of rain from your sound machine?"
Oh, I got it. Got it right here.
Okay. What is? There's text on it. Let's read the text first.
My daughter asked. Well, now you kind of ruined it because you said.
Well, no, play it.
It says it's bedtime. My daughter asked me to play her bacon sounds to fall asleep. It took me a few moments to realize that she meant rain. I can't unhear bacon cooking.
Okay. And then there's this TikTok with the sound of bacon cooking. There we go. It's cooking bacon. Tell me. I mean, forever ruined. Now, all of our kids are falling asleep to the sound of frying bacon.
There could be worse.
It could be worse. But it's just like hilarious. When you showed it to me, I was like, this is just too perfect.
It's great.
Great.
Yeah. But.
All right. One more topic.
What else? We got
one more topic.
Right.
I just want to talk about this one real quick.
Okay.
Because it's not going to take long because I don't know if we'll have a ton to say about it. But I thought it was very interesting.
You'll find one.
Thanks, babe.
8 p.m. on a Monday when we're doing get what you get.
Okay. Provision.
Is the coffee shop?
This coffee shop in Fairhope, which is like down on the bay, the Gulf Coast of Alabama, Mobile Bay. We love going here. It's like this little beachy, bay downtown. And they had this coffee shop called Provision, and it had this coffee. Was it iced and hot or only iced?
It was iced and hot.
Iced and hot.
I hope we're talking about the Oreo.
We're talking about the Oreo Dream.
We would be coffee connoisseurs.
I don't know, but in case y'all already know. We might like coffee.
I need them to figure out and tell me.
Jesse? You know.
I don't know, but
you would know him from Twitter. Erwin, the guy with the pink profile pic. I do have a pink. Jesse, I just realized we have matching pink. Anyway, all right, back on target. He like grinds his own coffee, like makes it all himself. He's
all right.
They had this Oreo coffee and it was so good, so good. And they made it themselves. Like they put the Oreos in like the cream the night before,
like Oreo milk.
Mm-hmm. And they soaked the Oreo and the creamer, and then they put like little crumbles of Oreo in it.
It was.
Long story short,
everything.
It was everything. But Allie goes down to Fairhope without me, which already salty. But moving it. All right. And she comes back and then delivers like bad news on top of the fact that I didn't get to go with her.
There was no Oreo Dream Coffee.
No Oreo Dream Coffee. They removed it.
I just settled for something else.
I was taking a shower and I was thinking about it. It may have been the shower water. It may have been tears. We will never know. But I was thinking about how the coffee was gone, and it made me think about the fact that they probably removed it because they got so popular.
I think that is the opposite.
One sec. Let me explain.
Did you fall and hit your
They got so popular, they had to try and scale the business, and the Oreo coffee was just let me finish.
Everybody else is shaking their heads too.
It was too labor intensive.
Oh.
One sec. It was too labor intensive. It took too much time. The margins were not high enough on it, and they were not making money. And that's the only thing people wanted.
Way too much interest and
no, emphasis. This happens in like a ton of businesses.
A small town coffee shop.
You make your name doing something. In
this was
startup
one something.
It wasn't, but it was their best something. But they removed it from the menu.
Best something.
Girl, you can tell me that Oreo coffee was not their best
it's delicious,
something?
But can you name like 6 other things you've tried there?
Nope. Literally only that Oreo coffee and like maybe a pastry.
Okay,
I lived for that coffee, and I know everyone else. Like that's what put them on the map. They were like on
that is not what
they went
put them
viral.
On the map.
They went viral, and it was because they had this Oreo.
go viral.
Because we didn't know about it until we saw it all over social media.
Anyway. One person. This is going to be a debate.
I'm telling you. But this happens with there's this like concept with businesses where it says do things that don't scale, which is this idea of like, yes, when you're trying to start getting your business off the ground, you do all these things that are like very labor intensive and you don't make your money back on them. But then when you like start getting bigger and you start getting momentum in the market, then like you stop doing those things because you're losing money doing it. And you don't need that anymore to continue growing.
I think that's putting a whole lot of weight on a magical cup of coffee. Because I'm going to go with it's seasonal. We went in November and had the Oreo coffee, and I went in July again, and it was like tropical.
Ooh, guess what? You know what we could do?
We're going to test this theory.
We're going next month. Yeah. We're going. And we're going to find out if I'm right or if she's right.
I'm going to bet it's seasonal in this whole product to scale thing.
No, but okay, so whether or not that's the case or not.
A hot garbage take.
It's not hot garbage because that's real. The only reason I'm going to mention this is because...
I'll look at their menu right now.
Go for it.
All right, you ramble on. Tell me I'm wrong.
Rude. I'm not rambling. I'm dropping knowledge bombs.
Very smart.
Just kidding. But I do want to talk about this for a minute because it's something that I thought about with a lot of products where there are a lot of products that made their mark doing something. And then because they scaled, is it on there?
It's not, but...
What do they have instead?
Here.
Guy.
That.
We love. Is that a salted pistachio latte? But there's no Oreo.
But can we all agree that these are seasonal flavors?
Those are
seasonal.
So you may have a nugget
out
of a point.
Oreo season.
What is What is even Oreo season? Oreo season is year round, all the time. So anyway.
Oh, also a real quick shout out for Oreos. If you've never had a birthday cake Oreo,
this is a good shout out.
This is my number one piece of advice to you.
We should be sponsored by
Go
Oreo.
to your nearest store, get you a pack of birthday cake Oreos, and you can thank me later.
I think we'd have really good ad spots if we got sponsors. We would make really good ads.
If you're okay.
Anyway.
Like I can't give away all of my secret snacks.
Okay.
I mean they're not secret.
We'll drop one.
Birthday cake Oreos.
Birthday cake Oreos, big win. We are big snackers, so we could drop some snack every episode.
Snack hack.
Snack. Did you just
wow?
Wow.
That was good. Rename this podcast Snack Hack.
No, we are not making a snack only podcast.
I would crush that, man.
Probably in like 5 episodes, you'd share everything all at once and then be like, "What do I do now?"
So is that product removal?
Things? Yeah, exactly, exactly. Then you'd start going corporate. But that's the point. There are businesses that do stuff that puts them on the map and is why people love them. And then they start getting bigger. And in the name of scale, they like take the parts that were actually great about their product and had heart about their product, and they remove them to try and make margins bigger and better and to grow bigger and better. And then they just get full. And I feel like there's this chart where it's like, oh, we're growing. Let's try to hyper growth it by cutting all these things and making more money. And then like they eventually plateau and fall. And nobody loves them anymore. Because they gave up what made them them.
Yeah. I just wish you didn't use the Oreo.
But that's what made me think about it. That's what made me think about it. Because it just made me think like, well, like what if they removed it? Because they're like, oh man, this is so much effort. We don't make good margins on this drink and everyone keeps ordering it. So let's just remove it and do stuff that...
Double dog.
You think that barista makes any decisions on like how that business, how the product is run? I'm going to look that barista in the eye and ask them that, and they're just going to look at me and be like, what? Like, you get out.
Yeah.
You can leave. I don't know, man.
To which I'll turn my back and be like,
they'll be like, I don't know, man. I'm like 17.
Who knows? But I get what you're saying. You just didn't. Try again next.
I'll find a good example, but don't bring this to.
Did you know? I'm a little salty.
She is a little salty. What? Okay, so the other day, Allie looks. Yes, Allie looks at me the other day.
No, this does not. And she goes to the world.
This does. She looks at me and she says, "If I were a cracker, I think I'd be a saltine." First of all, a saltine, like, come on. And she goes, a little salty classic. To which I die laughing. And I think we can all agree, based on her interactions on Twitter, she is not just a little salty. She's a lot salty. But she is. So
don't be hating on the saltine, man.
So my wife,
the
saltine, a little salty classic. Love you.
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Well, we're done here.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened. We talked about romanticism or life like that.
Oh, what's romance?
Bacon sound. Most importantly,
Oreo coffee.
Birthday cake Oreos.
Oh, those two. Whatever. Have a good night.